it. Welcome to a not gameplay video, because usually we do that, and now we're doing this.
You can see our faces. Our actual faces.
We
this
have
is
them.
what we really look like.
They're usually exclusive to thumbnails, but now they are...
Face nails, they should be called, shouldn't they, really?
This has gone off the rails really
Wow!
fast. So we just wanted to talk about games, basically. We talk about games a lot, and then we thought we might as well just, set the camera up and do it in front of that. So I guess this might become a thing we do regularly, every month or so, whenever we've got a new game to talk about.
Depends how many games I actually play, because sometimes I just don't play games, and sometimes I play all the games.
And you'll see why in a minute, because what have you been playing?
Animal Crossing. You wondered what I was going to be doing then.
That doesn't say Animal Crossing, but that's from...
I've been playing a game called Able Sisters. Anyway, Animal Crossing has kind of taken over my life, so I think, the main reason I thought this was a good idea to do this kind of video was because for once in my life, this time, I've been playing a lot of games. Or a lot of one game. And I thought it was a good idea to talk about it, really, because this is a gaming channel, and we thought, why not share our thoughts on games that we're currently in the middle of playing. So this is kind of like what games we've been playing this month.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll each talk about one game.
One game. Usually the made-up criteria that I'm making up now is that we would have had to complete the game. But since Animal Crossing
Tell me this.
is not a game that you can complete, we're
God.
just gonna go ahead and have you talk about it instead.
So, the history of my Animal Crossing life, I have never played another Animal Crossing game. I've never played any of the previous Animal Crossing games. Have you ever played an Animal Crossing game?
Yes, I played. Yeah, I told you because when it was announced and you didn't listen to me, I played it on the GameCube.
Ah, okay.
I don't think it was my copy. I think it was a friend's copy. Okay. But I'd go over every day and I'd play it for like an hour or so. And that was like the first time I was getting used to, or just seeing the concept of like a game going, oh, these are real days and it's in real time. So on your birthday, everyone's like, happy birthday. So I played it for a bit, and then it was just not something I could carry on with.
So you played Animal Crossing back in the day.
Yes.
Then you didn't really have a urge to play this now, did you? Because you didn't feel like it was one of these kind of games that's something that you play now.
Since then, there's been a bunch of games that have taken the Animal Crossing thing and like what's
Stardew
that
Valley?
game? Stardew Valley, and there's like other games as well. But Animal Crossing is like the mainstay in that genre of game, and it's never been my thing really. Like I told you if we got it, because we were discussing it at the time, I'd go all in for like a week, and then I would drop off immediately. So I didn't see the point in getting it.
I thought it would be one of those games that I don't know. I think it was because there isn't an end. I thought it would be something that I didn't enjoy and didn't like because there was no ending. I just thought, oh God, but I'll be like, won't be striving towards anything and blah blah. But there's so many little goals within it that it just works and catches you. Obviously, everyone is different, but I feel like I didn't know it was going to do this to me, did I?
No,
and I refused to get it. I was like, no, I'm not going to like that. And then I watched a couple of friends visit each other last year at some point, and I saw them like visiting each other's islands and showing all the stuff and chatting and things about it, and I was just like, actually this looks like something I'd quite enjoy. The fact you can completely design your own island and all the items and customizable things. I was like, hang on a minute, I like decorating my house. Imagine decorating an entire island.
Yeah, I knew you'd like it because it has that stuff.
Like, I think you just didn't tell me because you knew it would take over my life.
I said I think you'll enjoy it. I just wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say buy this new £40 game.
Yeah, exactly.
Just in case. But over the course of time, you just naturally started to get really interested in it.
Anyway, and then I bought it and I've never looked back. And then, so much so to the point where I realised we have one Switch console between us, and I realised that I wanted to kind of take the Switch out with me and play it on my break at work and things like that. And then I decided that it was a really good idea to buy a Switch Lite, my own console, so I don't have to share it with you.
The Animal Crossing machine. So what? Because you had a general concept of what it was like, and you've seen your friends play it. But what was it like when you like your first day playing it and just getting used to
Okay.
the mechanics. Because as the game goes on, you get access to so many different things. But what was it like just kind of starting from the very beginning and progressing to like...
So yeah, at the beginning, obviously, because I'd seen my friends' islands and I'd seen them all decorated and all this stuff, and then you realise at the very beginning you're just plonked on a not completely blank island, but like really messy island. There's just weeds everywhere, and there's only one type of flower everywhere, and it's always the one that you dislike that you get first. I got this red pansies, and I was just like, don't like them. And fine if you like them and they're your favourite flower in the game, but everybody has their favourites, and I just looked at them like, don't like them. And I don't even know whether it was because they were the ones I had, and whether if I had a different one, maybe I'd be like, actually, God, I really want the red pansies. I just want something that I don't have. So yeah, anyway, I started out with them, and obviously trees are just everywhere, plonked in random positions, and there's only a certain amount of your island you can actually access at the beginning. I don't know whether you know that. The river that kind of streams between is blocking you off from the rest of the island, so until you get certain things you can't get over there. Anyway, so yeah, I obviously really wanted to get to that point where mine looked like my friends did, but yeah, it takes a while, but it's fine. It was so enjoyable, and the thing I absolutely loved straight away was just how relaxing it was, and how, because I panic at games sometimes all the time.
There's even an ounce of urgency. You're like, ah!
Yeah, I definitely find that I am more of a person who likes RPGs, where like strategy games where you can literally plan out what you're going to do before, rather than in Zelda, because I love Zelda, but it's still a challenge for me because you have the enemies immediately at you attacking you, and you have to do something in that moment, and if you press the wrong button and do the wrong thing, you die.
That's how life works.
So whereas I like to plan things and strategically think, right, what am I going to do? I'm going to equip with this, do this, and take my time with it. Yeah. So I love that Animal Crossing. I mean, you don't really get attacked by things. Well, I mean, there's wasps, guys. Be very wary of the wasps and the scorpions. It's so relaxing. Apart from those couple of things, the main game is just so relaxing. You are just, in your own little world, and you have your little villagers you can talk to, and you have your villagers that you can like, and you have your villagers that you can hate. Kashmir the sheep, who didn't move out for ages. Did not like her at all.
I remember the struggle of Kashmir the sheep and how much you hated her.
How many times have I redesigned my island as well, Jim? So
as many times as you've redesigned our bathroom. Which is a lot. Yeah, it's so funny as well, because like just every now and then you'll be like, so I've done this, remember this bit, you remember this bit, and I'm just like, yeah, totally remember that bit, the bit with the trees, and you're like, oh yeah, well it used to look like this and now it looks like this, and I'm like, that's great. I'm really happy
so funny.
For you.
Clearly into games and everything. I mean, come on, you're into games. We're in the games room, and
but it's not
fussed. You literally said the sentence to me the other week. You said, I don't care about Animal Crossing. And I was like, wow.
I don't think I said that, but
I'm saying
either way, it's been taken out of context. I said something like, well, I'm not really bothered. But it was in the context of something that I can't remember.
Okay.
Which is not making me come across well right now. I was interested in what you were saying at that time, but I wasn't...
You didn't really care. Just didn't care. What's so amazing is how different everybody's islands can look. Yeah. Because of the fact because I was talking to a friend this morning who's only recently started, and seeing someone at the beginning just be like, oh, how do I do this? How do I do this? What do I do with this? And then I remembered the excitement of when I realised that my island was obviously laid out, and you've got low land, medium land, higher land, and that's just where it is, and the water's just where it is, and then suddenly you get terraforming and realise you can do whatever you want on the island, and it's just so lovely to kind of get your mind just into it and think, oh, I want to do this to it, I want to create this, and then I follow like a million Instagram accounts as well where I get loads of inspiration from, and I didn't think I'd do that, but yeah, I'm really obsessed now.
The way you approach it is so, like, you've got a Discord group
to
figure out like what the best turnip prices are.
He's so confused when I'm like, I had to sell my turnips.
Yeah, so like every day she's like, I need to figure out the turnip, because sometimes I'll see you just being like, she's working out taxes or something. She's like, I'm like, what are you doing? I'm just working out what the turnip price is going to be in 2 days. And it's just so weird to see, because it's such a thing outside of the game.
Yeah.
And that you spent half an hour timing falling stars one night.
You can find out your weather seed, so you can find out whether you're going to have shooting stars that night or not, and like what days you're going to have them on, and the exact time and the exact second they're going to be shooting on. And that is really difficult to figure out, because I had the world clock on my phone, I had the Switch, and I had a pen and paper.
It's the world clock.
Well, obviously everyone's different times.
The ancient artifact, the world clock.
So yeah, well, obviously everyone's got different times, but I had the time
from the world
clock. Yeah. And then I had a pen and paper as well to work it all out, but that was fun. But anyway, now I know my weather seed, and I know what the weather's going to be like tomorrow. Yeah. I can check the weather on my Animal Crossing as well as in real life. It's great. That's
like old school dungeon crawling game shit. Just like pen and paper, making the map as you go along.
Yeah.
Like, that's mental.
Also, there's time travel. Now, I played the game without time travelling for the majority of it, okay?
Which is about 350 hours.
I've only recently started deciding time travelling is a good idea for me, okay? And I definitely didn't encourage my friend who's new to it to time travel this morning. But anyway, let's not talk about that. So, basically, yeah, obviously you're supposed to play it day by day. Anyway, because I've redesigned my island so many times, I have ideas set in my mind for what I want a certain area to be like. And then if I want to like move a bridge or move a building around, you've then got to wait for the following day for that to do. And if I've got a couple of hours free in the evening and I want to get that design done that night, it's really annoying that I then can't picture it until tomorrow when the house is actually been
life works.
So, I'm sorry, I time travel to the next day to get the house to be built, and then I move back to the day, and then there it is, and I can finish off my design. So I don't do it all the time. It's just that when I want to move things around, I just want it done straight away because I have visions in my head. Another thing I was going to say, so I get all this inspiration from Instagram and people's YouTube channels and stuff that I watch, and then I don't like to copy, like I never want to copy an exact design, because I think that's pointless. I don't go, okay, that design's lovely, I'm going to just copy that, everything exactly the same. I take inspiration from it, but I definitely don't want to copy it, because that's what's so fun, is just creating it yourself, and it makes you so proud when you've done this area and you're like, oh my god. But I love taking inspiration from those channels. It's just amazing. It gives me so many ideas. So my island is finally,
don't say complete.
I've said this so many times. No, it's not complete, but I finally got like, I've said this so many times, I know, but I finally got, I think I know my style. I know what I want, and I know my style, and I'm happy with some of the areas. There's just a lot of areas that aren't done yet.
Yeah, she's lying.
But anyway, I'll put my dream address at the bottom so you can have a little peek at where it's up to. But obviously, just bear in mind, a lot of it isn't done. And I don't know. It depends when you watch this, because if you actually click on my dream address at the bottom, months from now I may have actually completed it and it may be beautiful, but if you actually click on it today, it's kind of half done. Anyway, so that's Animal Crossing. You should definitely play Animal Crossing. Also, if you're watching Nintendo, please give me an update where I can have more custom designs, because oh my god, custom designs are amazing. Also, the Mario update at the moment, amazing. There's pipes, Mario pipes. You can put one in one place of your island, one in the other, and you can transport yourself to the other side of your island, or just whatever you want. And it's, well, not obviously wherever you want in life, but within the island.
Amazing. Yes, thanks for clarifying.
It's amazing. Give me faster, like, talking, and don't say as much when you go to the airport, so you can go to people's islands quicker, because it's just talk too much. I'm sure there's a few other. Just give me a message, Nintendo, and I'll let you know what kind of updates I want you to do on it. Anyway, moving on.
Okay then.
So, Jim, what game have you been playing whilst I've been playing Animal Crossing?
Thanks, weird presenter person.
Over to you.
I have been playing, or I've just finished playing, a game called Ghost of...
Oh no, Tsushima?
That's racist.
Sorry.
It's called Ghost of Tsushima.
Ah, that's what I recognised. I was like, that's funny.
But it's not pronounced Tsushima, it's pronounced Tsushima. Because there's a T and an S, and that's just how it's pronounced. But then I sound weird saying Ghost of Tsushima. But I also feel weird about saying
it wrong.
Tsushima because
Yeah.
that's not. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. It's a big game and everyone's played it. So it is a game where you are playing as essentially the last samurai on an island off the coast of Japan called Tsushima.
We like islands.
We do like islands, as we've talked about, but I don't get to customise this island. It's the same. No.
I'm so sorry for interrupting. There's an amazing link between these two games, though, because every time I watch you play it, aren't there similar looks and similar items that I'm like, oh my god, I have that item in Animal Crossing.
No.
And I get inspiration from it because I actually want my Animal Crossing to look quite similar to that game.
How dare you interrupt the introduction of me talking about my game to talk about your game and how they're similar? No. Unacceptable.
I do get inspiration though from the look of it. I've been looking at it going, oh, I think that's what I want my own to look like. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you've been doing Japanese-inspired stuff on there recently, and
that's
it's a
what I mean.
Japanese island.
And then I'm
but
looking at
still,
yours, and I'm like, oh my god, that's exactly what I'm going for.
Anyway, it's set in, I think the early or late 1300s.
Oh wow!
During the Mongol invasion, which is a real event, but this is a fake version of that real event. So it's a fictional, non-fictional samurai epic, and that's essentially just what the game is sold on. It plays like an old samurai movie, which is funny because there's a mode on it called Kurosawa mode. Akira Kurosawa was a very famous director in the 60s that made all the great samurai movies. Like Seven Samurai was his biggest one, and that inspired Star Wars and The Magnificent Seven, which is a cowboy movie. So it's just a game. It's like a love letter to those kind of movies and this kind of setting. It took me a while to get around to playing it, just because I'm not really an open world game lover. This is like your average open world game. I say average just in the sense of it's a big world that you can explore, and there's lots of icons on the map that you have to go to, and there are different things you can do. But this is amazing, and the combat, I'll just start with, you're an old samurai, well, not an old samurai, a samurai, but you have like that old classic style that you probably associate with samurais, like the very stoic, silent, like the combat's very thoughtful. Like you've got to be very particular about when you're swinging your sword and what stance you use, because there's a bunch of different stances. One thing I didn't love about it is that the stances that you use are all associated for fighting different types, like very certain types. So if someone has a spear, you use one stance. If someone has a sword, you use another. I would have liked to kind of incorporate all the stances into fighting anyone, because if you use like the sword stance on a spear guy, it's just not really going to work. There's the main story, which is this, you're part of a samurai clan, and the Mongols have come and they kill all the samurai. And then it's just you and your uncle who got captured, and you, as this, samurais take themselves and their code very seriously, and you get to the point where you start having to break that code to beat the Mongols, because they're not fighting honorably like samurai do. They're using like really horrible torture tactics and stuff, so you start having to become a ninja basically, which is the opposite of a samurai.
Is it? Is that an opposite?
Yeah, samurais are
ninja.
Samurais face their enemy head on.
Okay.
Like one of the mechanics in this is that you can just like shout. If you show up to a camp, you can just be like, "Come out!" and they all come out, and then you just take them on. Okay. Ninjas are obviously stealthy, so they sneak in and kill everyone from behind without anyone seeing. It's very opposite, and so samurai have like they're not okay with stuff like that. There are side missions as well, which are like it's becoming a trend. Side missions tend to be more enjoyable than the main story, like in a lot of games now. I think this probably falls into the category of that. The main story's great, but every mission is very epic, and you know, there's these big battles that you take part in and stuff. Whereas the side missions are very like personal stories. It's usually you and one other person.
To see that kind of side
and it's just you like doing this story that doesn't really affect the world itself. It's just this very contained personal story,
nice.
which I always I
always
enjoy those stories more than the like world-changing epic battle
you feel
stories.
more submerged into it. And
you
can relate on the personal kind of
A problem I do have with it also is that in like a open world game that encourages you to explore every nook and cranny of the world, usually, you know, there's places you go to and then later on things will happen to those places and they're changed. Whereas in this game, and I'll just give an example, there's a house that's on fire. So I see it and I'm like, you know, I'm ages away from it, but I can see that there's clearly something on fire in the distance. So I walk up to it thinking it's a place of that I have to explore. It's like, oh, this is a place of interest. What's going on here? And nothing was happening. And I was just like, all right, that's weird. And then like 2 hours later, I start this mission and someone runs down the hill going, my house has just been set on fire and there's Mongols trying to kill me. And then you go up and it's the same house.
That was 2 hours
and
ago
now,
I saw that.
Now this house is on fire, pretending that it's just been set on fire, and all these Mongols are around acting like they've just set it on fire. And it's like, that's on fire for the whole game. Like, I finished the game in about 70 hours. Because I tried to do everything I could. And the game's on fire the whole time.
The game's on fire.
The house is on fire the whole time. The game's on fire! So
it's disappointing. I don't know why they've done that.
Yeah, it happens a few times. There's some camps.
Weird.
Like there's camps full of enemies that you have to kill and wipe out, and then the camp kind of becomes yours. And sometimes when you're on a way to a mission, you find yourself just going through the camp, and you'll go, oh, well, I'll kill all these people while I'm going to the story. So you kill all the people, and then you do the story, and the story is you have to go to the camp and kill all the people.
So I might have taken care of it.
It's like, oh,
I'm gone. Don't have to worry about them.
And sometimes it does this thing where it's like, oh, we'll need an army to take all those, or kill all these people. It's like, I just did it on my own 2 minutes ago. We can if you want.
Easy.
And so that's a problem, because there are camps that have nothing to do with the story, and there's no differentiation.
Just say there's no difference.
There's no difference. There's no difference. You can't tell which one's which.
Yeah.
So that's an issue as well. It's just really it's beautiful. Like it's
that's all I know about it.
Just walking around, it's like ancient Japan. So everything's just
amazing.
Looks incredible. Like I remember when I saw the original E3 reveal, and when you see things like that, it's really easy to be like, that looks unlike anything I've ever seen before. It's probably not going to look like that when it comes out, because it was pretty amazing looking for the time, because I think it was revealed in like 2017. But by the time it came out, and like it speaks to just how far graphics have come. When I booted up the game, I wasn't like, wow, this is unlike anything I've ever seen before, because games just look that good now. But a special mention will go to the way it looks at night. Like a lot of places look amazing in the sun, and the sun is all like pretty looking. But the moonlight in this game, like I've never seen a game depict moonlight as amazing as this, because it really is. It looks like a painting. Yeah. Like it really is just like, if you think of ancient Japan in the moonlight, that's what this game looks like. It's just it looks ridiculous, and the lights bouncing off like the rice fields, and it looks. Sometimes I just find myself walking really slowly. Like usually when you play a game, you're running off to whatever the next mission is, like a little samurai.
Is it ray tracing?
No, it's a PS4 game.
Okay. Imagine if Animal Crossing had ray tracing.
No,
just
we don't need to.
Imagine that for a minute.
We don't need to do that. because it's really immersive, apart from the few immersive breaking things that happen, I do find myself really trying to act the way like a samurai would. So after you've like sliced up some Mongols, you can just like run off and do the next thing. What samurais usually do when they've chopped some Mongols up is they wipe the blood off their sword, all cool, and then they slide it back into the thing. And you have an option to do that.
Oh really?
If you slide the touchpad,
That's amazing.
he'll like flick the blood off, or he'll wipe it off, and he'll
so cool.
put it back, because obviously samurais take very good care of their swords because they're instruments. So it's a completely optional thing, but I did it at the end of every single battle. Because
I get why.
Because it just felt right. Like it just felt, and like
I love it.
the game is. There's thousands and thousands and
like
thousands of times you have to fight.
You just do it every
things.
single one.
So if just one person jumps out a bush, I'd slice his head off, and then just like
whoop. Satisfaction. I like that.
Yeah.
I love games like that though, where you actually do feel like you have to walk to kind of get the.
Yeah.
So even in Final Fantasy, I'll do that sometimes. Just like having a conversation with someone, and then you just feel like you need to walk.
Yeah, and I do it a lot.
Rather than run.
But I really find myself doing
Get you in the mood.
more times than often
That's
in this
amazing.
game, because it really does just make you feel like a full-on samurai, even though over the course of time you become more of a sneak ninja man. But it's just it really does try its best to immerse you in everything. Like they try to have as little UI as possible, so there's no like clutter on your screen.
Oh, that's nice.
So you can just enjoy like walking around.
Feel like you're
Japan.
in that rather than being obvious that you're like,
you're
playing.
If you don't know where you're going,
that's
instead of like opening the map over and over again or pressing a button and having a big arrow, you swipe up on the touchpad and the wind will blow in the direction you need to go. So there's no, you don't have to break.
So clever.
Yeah, and for the things that aren't overtly like obvious where they are, like a yellow bird will just show up and will fly about, and the game basically says when this bird shows up, follow it.
That's well good.
And it will take you to places of interest. So that's really cool. The only unfortunate thing there is the standoffs I mentioned. So you can do this thing, there's a mechanic where when there's a group of Mongols or just anyone you can fight, you can initiate a standoff. Okay. So you basically shout at them and you have like a samurai standoff where you've both got your hands on your swords.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
And like you basically just wait for one person
like,
to move.
Yeah, he goes.
And then when he goes to slash, you take your finger off triangle and he'll kill him.
That's well
immediately.
Good. Like it.
It's really cool and I really like it. Originally it was planned that it would just like happen naturally, that he would just come up to you and you'd know to do it.
So it's just a bit choppy, it's just a bit
so
obvious.
it just looks smoother in the original, and that's how it was originally going to be, but they decided to change it, I guess.
Worse, yeah.
And after 70 hours, it telling you to hold triangle for the 90th time. It's like, I know to hold triangle.
Just do it for the first couple and stop, surely.
So just little things like that where it's like, they went to so much trouble to make sure there's nothing on the screen. Yeah. And then like every now and then there's these things that go against that. Again, just really nitpicky. Like it's overall just super fun and amazing to play. Just having a whole game on an island in Japan is really cool. And
that's what I hope my Animal Crossing will feel like eventually, when it's all Japanese influence. Also, when you mentioned the yellow bird, so in Animal Crossing, a little yellow bird does come on top of your little notice board to tell you when there's a message, so that's just, they relate, they're quite similar, these games.
And then you follow that bird to kill some Mongols?
No, you just so read the message and then it goes.
They're nothing alike then.
Every time we do these, I should find the similarity between the two games that we talk about. No. Okay.
No. So those are the games we've been playing, and that's how we feel about them. A bit rambly, bit bit all over the place, but that's
Just a
kind
little
of the
bit.
point of these
Speak
videos.
for yourself, just your bit. My bit was straight to the point.
Well, I feel like my bit would have been easier if you didn't interrupt me every 5 seconds to talk about bloody Animal Crossing.
Anyway, please join us next time. I'm pretty sure we will do another one like this.
I think so. We're playing different
know if we
games.
want
We're
that.
already in the process of playing
playing
different
games.
games now, and I'm sure we'll both have things
Want
to
to talk
say
about
about
them,
them. So yeah, probably in like a month or so, and just whenever we have
Yeah,
things
whenever
to say.
there's just something to talk about game-wise, we will.
But in the meantime, we
be
will
here.
try and just put out our regular gameplay videos and anything else we come up with, really. Subscribe if you so wish, and we will see you.
Next time.
Didn't know you were going to finish my sentence.
You spent ages thinking of the next word, so
It's
I filled it in.
called a dramatic pause.
Well, this is called improvisation and teamwork.
Next time.
Goodbye. You just had to do it.